Hello and welcome back. In this session, we will take a look at functions, how to define a function, how to call a function, and function expressions. In the next session, we will look at function scope, closures, and arrow functions. Let us see why we need functions. If we have a set of instructions which needs to be called many times, then instead of having those instructions repeated many times, we can combine them and bundle them together to form a function. Okay, let us see how to define a function. Let us open up Visual Studio Code. Okay, let me create a new file here called functions.js. Okay, to define a function, you need to use function keyword and the name of the function. Say for example, okay, so within this function, I'm combining the first name and the last name here. Okay, so the full name will be var is equal to, we'll use concatenation operation here, f name plus l name, and console.log f name. So this is how we can define a particular function. It will have a function keyword and the name of the function, and within this you can pass in the parameters. So currently this particular function doesn't have any parameters. Okay, and inside this I have defined three variables: first name, last name, and this is full name. Okay, since I have already defined f name here, so I will make this as full name. Okay, first name is assigned with Raj and last name is assigned with tech trainer, and the full name will be the concatenation of these two strings. Okay, so let me add a space here. Okay, so this is how we can define a simple function. And how do we call this function? We call this function by the name of the function. The name of the function is full name. Okay, let me save this and run this. Okay, it says Raj Tech Trainer. Okay, so this is a simple function without passing any parameters here. Okay, so let us see how to pass the parameter here. And let me comment this out. Okay, so here I will pass Raj and tech trainer. Okay, now this full name takes two arguments. The first argument contains Raj as its value and last name contains tech trainer as its value. So let me run this. So we can also call this with something else. For example, David Warner. Okay, so it prints David Warner here. So in the beginning we have seen full name without any argument. Now we have seen a function with arguments. Now instead of printing this here, I want to get the value from this function. I want to get the full name from this function. So how do I do it? So let me comment this out, and there is a return keyword. What am I returning? I'm returning full name here. So since I'm not printing it here, I need to store the return value inside a variable, and then print it. So let me have this variable here, and console.log af name, and also here af name is equal to, and let me print this again. Okay, save it. Let me rerun this. Instead of printing the value here, what am I doing? I am returning this value from this particular function and storing it into a variable, and I'm printing the value here outside the function. Earlier I was printing inside the function, now it is outside the function. Okay, so this is a simple way of defining a function with parameter which is returning a value. So we have seen how to define a function without any parameters. Then we have defined a function with parameters, and we have also defined a function which is returning a value, and we have seen how to call that function. Okay, let us see function expressions. These are also called anonymous functions. So for function expressions, so instead of defining the function here and then calling here, what we can do is var complete name is equal to function, okay, taking two values, which is f name and l name. Okay, inside this return f name plus space and l name. Okay, should be return here. So this is called a function expression or anonymous function. So here we have not given any function name here. So this function is similar to this function here, but this function has got a name associated with it. Okay, so this is anonymous function or function expression or anonymous function. So if you look at this, it is like an expression, and this is the expression which after evaluation stores the value whatever is returned into this particular variable. So how do I call this particular function? The function is called with the variable name complete name, and here let me put Sachin Tendulkar here. Okay, first name is Sachin and second name is Tendulkar. Since this is returning a value, now we have to log that value. So this is another way of calling the method. Okay, so whatever the return value gets printed into our log. So let me rerun this. Now you can see there's Sachin Tendulkar here. Okay, instead of storing it and logging the value, I'm directly calling the method here, and whatever the return value is getting printed. Okay, so this is nothing but function expression. So if you don't want to have any parameters, we can also remove these parameters and we can have those values within this particular function. Okay, like the way we did in the first example, like this. Okay, we can define these values and then return first name and second name after concatenation. Okay, so this is nothing but function expression or anonymous function. This is anonymous function because there is no function name associated with it. So that is the end of this session. Thanks for watching. Please stand by for the next video.